Do you care if I ask you a quick question before we get out of here?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so I was curious what your thoughts would be if, in a hypothetical world, humans are carnivores. So we're 100% not omnivore, just we can only survive off eating flesh. Would you say that because we're intelligent enough to think it through and rationalize, that we should let ourselves die off because that's the more moral thing? Or would the moral thing be to eat as little as we needed to be as healthy as we can and then don't eat any further?
Yeah, if there's no other option, like like if we could eat formulated vegan food or lab grown meat, then yeah, the ethical option would be to kill off our species.
To kill off a species. Okay. Because I used to be on your side about the taking out predators until I thought about the fact that if I too was a carnivore, I have such a will to live that I would kill whatever animal I had to be healthy and survive, but I'd be morally opposed to eating further. But you would just say we should
Well,
let ourselves die.
everybody is going to have an interest in their own survival, and your own interest in your own survival may be of greater interest than other ethical concerns you may have. But when it comes to shit like this, suppose you weren't a carnivore and your, I don't know, alternative self that was a carnivore was trying to kill and eat you. Would you say that would be immoral?
No. Maybe. Let's see. I would find it somewhat justifiable, acceptable.
Well,
Um,
I think you might think it's understandable.
okay.
I don't know how you can think it's ethical to murder an innocent person just so that you can live. And we're not even talking about one innocent person. We're talking about like many over the course of a lifetime in
Yeah,
order to sustain your existence.
I think the only explanation that's reasonable at all is I can't think of anything more important than continuing. Like, we are who we are. We aren't part of anything else. Once we're dead, once you are dead, once I am dead, we can't impact anything else in any other way. So yeah, it's noble to end your own life to save others. But I feel like my goal would be to get water, to get food, to get shelter. And once I'm good, then the moral acts are fine. But until then, like that's kind of but it's probably just pure instinct and intuition to stay alive.
Okay, so let's say you were an immortal being and you could live forever, so you were a vampire. Do you think it's okay for you to kill an infinite amount of people so that you could keep on living?
Oh man, that's tricky. That's a really good question. I've never heard that. Yeah, I mean, me being the person I am, I might go, okay, you know what? I've had a good run. That's complicated. I give you the win on that without me even saying I don't know the answer to that. I'm gonna think
Yeah,
that over.
I like the problem is I don't know how you could justify your own existence with a moral view where you think it's okay to um, just kill to survive.
Yeah, really. The only thing I can go off of is the surviving part. Like I feel like you don't have kids, do you? You have.
No.
It's tougher with pets. I don't know if you would. Well, you don't like kids, right? And you love your pet. Like if you had to like sacrifice some random kid to save your pet, would you do it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's ethical,
Yeah.
but
No, same here. I would sacrifice a stranger to save my kid, but I don't think it's ethical. I would just do it. And so
right.
same
Well,
thing if I was a carnivore.
again, I just wanted to make that distinction because there are things that I think we would find unethical, but we could agree are understandable, and we
Hmm.
could empathize with the situation that we'd probably do the same thing, but we should still recognize it as morally wrong. It's just that,
Yes.
we have competing interests and we just have a greater interest for our own survival or the
Yeah.
survival of people we care about.
Yeah, definitely. And so what I think would be if there was a subset of like a human type thing that I could reason with, but also they were carnivores, and I came across one trying to kill somebody out in nature, like killing another person, and let's say we're not in a society where they have to follow laws. If I could kill the carnivore human that's going to kill an innocent human, I wouldn't do it if they were a carnivore because if I put myself in both of their shoes, I'd want to survive if I was the one about to be eaten, and I'd want to eat the one if I was the carnivore, so I wouldn't do anything. But if that carnivore human killed somebody, ate them, and then killed somebody else for fun, and they were sadistic, I would easily kill that one because they're not doing it for survival. And that's kind of how I feel about the whole predator thing. I've recently heard that like mountain lions torture their prey for like hours, and just various different felines might do it. So I would say that I think it's probably reasonable if there is a species that is known for torturing something instead of killing it to eat it, to wipe it out. But something that strictly just kills quickly to eat because that's in their nature, I don't. I've been convinced that's not okay by the arguments that I've just described.
So you wouldn't be in favor of culling carnivorous animals for that reason because you're too sympathetic for the to the idea of they're just trying to do it to survive.
Because they're acting in their own nature, but mostly, sadly, because I recognize that I would do the same thing.
Okay, so if there were xenomorphs, from aliens
Yeah, yeah,
that do kill pretty quickly, you wouldn't be in favor of wiping them all out so that, say, humans could live?
Are they doing it strictly to survive?
Yeah,
Or sorry, like they're going to consume the humans?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They eat people.
Then I would only do it as my own protection, similar to a gazelle, which is like one of the
So you'd
fastest
let other
animals on
people
Earth.
die, but you just do it to you'd only defend yourself.
No, I do feel a strong need to defend my fellow humans, but probably only if I'm in a society with them. If I was not in a society and I was in nature in like a tribe of like 20 or 50, I would defend the entire tribe. If I'm in, but so yeah, I might have such a natural kinship to other humans that I would save them from something like the xenomorph.
Okay, so if you were I'm assuming you're in the United States.
Yeah.
If you heard xenomorphs were running around Africa, they were on an asteroid, they landed in Africa, and they're just killing black people. You wouldn't you wouldn't be in favor of getting rid of the xenomorphs
Sorry, I just got distracted
because
by
they're
an
not
element
part
of
of
that.
your culture or tribe or anything.
And you're saying that this species came from somewhere else and they are doing it strictly to eat. They are
Yeah.
consuming these people in Africa because they need to eat, and that's their only reason?
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I think I would feel a kinship to humans in general. That's a good point. I
Then I
think-
don't know how you can't extend that to animals.
Oh,
like
you know what?
name the
You know
trait.
what? I don't know if it is necessarily a kinship. I think it might be something like me recognizing that if they're in Africa killing the Africans, they at some point could make it to me. So power in numbers, probably wipe them out for that reason. If they're just in Africa, they're going to wipe them out and go back. That becomes more complicated. I don't know if I'm not on the line and my loved ones aren't on the line. It's a little different. I don't know.
Right. So you wouldn't extend that same sort of sympathy to animals, though. You'd let other animals kill other animals.
If it's strictly for survival and there's no torturing going on, that's where I'm at right now. I mean, a month ago, I was on your side of the wiping out predators.
Well, I would like you to name the trait then. If you'd extend that sort of sympathy to other human beings where you would kill predators for their own survival, why wouldn't you extend that sympathy to animals?
Yeah, I don't think I have too good of reason. My first reason would be defense for myself, which is why if I thought they were going to leave Africa and come to me, it's better for us to take them out. If they're just in Africa, then I think it just comes down, and so my loved ones aren't there. I do know some people in Africa, and I care about them, but my loved ones aren't there. So I think it would just be some kind of instinctual kinship thing. But I really wouldn't feel that bad. If a stranger dies, I've been thinking thinking about it recently, my only concern with their death is that I know I want to continue, so I would think they probably did. And so, but it's a stranger. I don't have much to think about them, and the xenomorphs are strictly doing it for survival. The strange instinctual kinship makes me lean towards the trying to kill the xenomorphs to save them. But that's about it. Right now on the spot. Yeah.
Okay, so your only real reasoning is just like an emotional sort of connection to other humans, whereas you don't have that for animals.
I have an emotional connection to animals and probably to xenomorphs, I guess. I don't know much about them. In the sense of if they can suffer, I have an emotional connection to their suffering.
Well, I'm saying like you'd give another human being the sympathy to where you'd intervene and kill the xenomorph if it's killing another human being, but you wouldn't give that sympathy to like a lion killing a peacock.
Yeah, the main reason I wouldn't is because
Or tiger killing a peacock.
with whoever's involved, I like to put myself in their shoes, and so I get the idea of the xenomorph trying to do it for survival. And yeah, if there's no sadistic element, so the only reason that it changes slightly for humans, aside from the strange, unexplainable kinship, would be my knowledge that humans know what existing is and they know what a future is, and so that puts humans a little higher on the list. If it's an instant death, I don't think zebras. If you could get them to be able to talk, they would be able to talk about existing, because I don't think they know what existing is. That's not enough reason for me to kill them, but that's enough reason for me to not kill something else to save them.
Okay. That would go for the lion too, though, right?
Yes, that would go for the lion,
So
which is
then
why
why
I would
wouldn't you just
not
kill the
I would
lion?
not intervene. I could put myself in both shoes, and I'd say if I was a carnivore, I'd want to eat to survive.
Well, then this is weird because you're saying if animals don't have like a knowledge of existence and they don't have as much of an interest in existing due to that, that would be the case for the lion. So why wouldn't you choose the option where wiping out all predators would just leave these animals to exist peacefully?
Yeah, so that explanation was part of why I would save a human from a xenomorph, but not save a lion or a zebra from a xenomorph. Not why I would save the zebra, not the lion.
Well, supposedly the xenomorph would also not understand existence because it's an animal too.
Oh,
So,
fair
like,
enough.
I don't know why you'd have an interest in keeping it alive then.
No,
If
fair
it
enough.
has the same lack of interest for its own existence.
Yeah. So if a lion tried to kill a human, I'd probably kill the lion. So if the xenomorph
Well,
does
no, I'm
it-
talking about in the animal context.
uh,
Like
yeah,
if they both have an equal level of disregard for their own existence, why wouldn't you be in favor of killing the lion, since it also doesn't have much of an interest to exist, as you assume these prey species do?
'cause
And
it-
if you kill the predator species, well, then the prey species can just live peacefully. And I mean, like, you could be wrong about this too, right? Maybe they do understand existence and have existential thoughts. Like, wouldn't the safer option be to kill the predatory species?
So the not knowing of existence has no connection to what I would do with the lion and the zebra thing. But yes, I feel
Then
like
why did you bring that up as a reason for why you wouldn't bother intervening?
it's why I would intervene for a human and not an animal. So with animals, I would just let it be. But
Because they don't have an interest in existence to the degree that we do.
Correct. Sorry.
Okay, so that would also apply to the prey species. So a lion
Yeah.
would have the same lack of interest to exist as, say, a gazelle.
Yeah, no, I
Right.
totally agree. Yeah.
So then wouldn't the better option be to just kill the lion, since you believe it doesn't have as much of an interest to exist, and then you'd also improve the quality of life for all these other prey species?
Yeah, so I don't have a strong stance on if one were to go or not. The reason I wouldn't kill either is because if I put myself in either of their shoes, I would want what they both want. If I was the gazelle, I'd want to get away, and if I was the lion, I'd want to eat. And so I'm just fine with not intervening. That added detail about the caring of existence was just part of why I would save my own species
Okay,
in
well,
the.
do you believe they care about not suffering?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so then you should be in favor of killing the predatory species because in any kind of death in nature, you're going to have a painful death.
Yeah, so if I were to intervene, if I had all the time in the world to not step on ants and to also be out in the safari, if a lion was killing a zebra and the zebra didn't get away, and I was a good shot and I could shoot the zebra in the head and make it not have a painful death, I would do that out of mercy.
Well, but
you asked
why
me this.
wouldn't you kill the lion to prevent the future suffering and death of other zebra?
If I was the lion, I'd want to eat the zebra.
Yeah, but you acknowledge that both of these animals have a similar degree of like a similar lack of caring for their own existence.
Yeah, so I care about
the
each of them
option-
equally. Yeah.
The option which results in less pain and suffering would probably be the better option, right?
I in general something like that. Which is why
Right.
I did say that if it was if they were sadistic and they were just playing with them, or
Well,
they were
you don't have to be sadistic. Like, if I wanted to kill somebody in self-defense, they may suffer a horrible, horrible death. I'm not necessarily being sadistic. I could accidentally blow half their face off, and then they just slowly bleed out while, like, their head is in just tremendous pain from getting
Yeah.
shot. Like, I mean, same thing happens in the wild. Like, a lion might want to kill something as quickly as possible, but it takes, like, 5 minutes for the lion to actually kill it. So, like, again, assuming they both have a similar lack of care for their own existence, why wouldn't you kill the lion if, even if you don't care about their life or death, you do care about their suffering, correct? So, like, the decision that reduces the most amount of suffering would be the best one.
Yeah, it's very possible. Again, I'm on the fence. About a month ago, I was on the side of taking out the predators until I put myself in the shoes if I was a predator. But since we're
Okay,
talking
well,
about
what if
me,
you put yourself in the shoes of the prey?
same
Sounds
thing.
like you're only putting yourself in the shoes of the predator.
No, I used to only put myself in the shoes of the prey, and now I do both. So I root for both because if I needed food, I would want to eat it if I was a carnivore. But no, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if we ever perfect everything and become the best vegans of all time,
Okay. Well, wait. If you're going to do this sort of mental experiment where you try to empathize with each position, so you are empathizing with the predatory species because you would want to do that if you were in their situation. You'd want to kill and prolong your existence. And if you were in the prey species, you would want to do everything you could to survive. So you would kill the predatory species trying to kill you. If you can empathize with both at the same time, I think it would make more sense to side with the prey species or the prey species.
if you're right that there's a large amount of suffering, I definitely agree with you. I care. Suffering is the main thing I care about. If I could snap my fingers and either would die, if we're just like narrowing it down to this case of one zebra, one lion, and not looking at the future of other zebras.
Well, it's like 100 or 1,000 zebra, one lion, something like that.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
So
Go for it.
if we're going to give empathy to both groups, don't you think based on that scale, for one lion you have to kill, I don't know, 100 zebra or something over its lifetime? Wouldn't you say because of that scale, the zebra deserve more empathy? So the lion should be killed.
It's tough because my main focus is myself, and if I was a carnivore, I wouldn't want somebody to snap me or my species out of existence. But no, I mean, I think I do kind of lean that direction where Right now, my stance is I'm leaving it to nature, but I don't really see a huge problem if it does not affect the ecosystem, and we could just snap all large cats out of existence if somehow that didn't affect the ecosystem. I'm
Okay,
not
if right,
totally against that.
assuming if this wouldn't affect the ecosystem in a negative way where it would cause more death, say, if we're going to do this thought experiment where you would occupy someone else's mind and you had to live the life of one lion, and you also had to live the life of 100 zebra, and all of those 100 zebra end up getting killed like by that lion, wouldn't you rather just not live the life of that lion so that you could live the life of those zebra peacefully? So if you had to jump from mind to mind to mind each time you died,
Yeah.
and wouldn't you prefer to be the lion, get shot, killed, and then when you live as the zebra, you don't get brutally murdered 100 times over?
Yeah. I mean, if I had to choose which one of those things to be, sure, yeah.
Well, no, it's not choosing which one to be. I'm saying
Or I'm in the mind.
you have the sequence where you have to live life as a lion, and then when you die, you get reincarnated, and then you're a zebra. Then you die, you get reincarnated, you're a zebra. And for the zebras, you have to do that 100 times. For the lion, you do that once.
Yeah.
Now, if you had to go through that whole sequence, would you rather live life as a lion, kill 100 zebra over your lifetime, and then suffer the same fate you inflicted on those zebras as a lion, but now you have to suffer that as the zebra? Or would you rather get shot and killed by a hunter, like an ethical hunter who wants to kill carnivorous animals, as the lion, and then when you get reincarnated as the zebra, you can live peacefully, you don't suffer a horrible, gruesome death by a lion?
Well, I don't believe in reincarnation, but as far as the hypothetical goes, yeah, if I had to live lives over and over and over again, I would take the being a lion that gets shot and comes back as a zebra that gets to live its life out. Sure.
Right, and the reason for that is you can recognize there's a far greater degree of rights violations and suffering caused by the lion than caused by the zebras.
Yeah, but the problem with rights violations, I don't believe in a natural right. I
Well, yeah, I
can,
know. We're assuming we'd grant these rights to animals,
well, we can
or
grant them from
we don't even
ourselves,
need
but
to. We don't even need to consider it a right. Let's say violation of liberty, if you want to use a different term.
gotcha. Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely complicated. I don't know what the approach would be, but yeah, I people have called me crazy for having the same stance you had about
Well,
wiping out
well, again,
predators.
well, again, if you personally had to be in this set of experiences, you'd want to get shot and killed as the lion, and then live life as the zebras peacefully. Well, you have all of these minds, and if you could accept that for yourself, I don't know why you can't accept that for in the animal context.
Well, because I'm choosing for others what's going to happen when I don't have to. I could leave it to nature. And I don't mean don't have to because I don't want to have to choose. I mean because if somebody was choosing for me, I'd want them to stay out of it. I mean,
When you're talking about like so many minds that are being brutally murdered versus one mind that's benefiting from all this murder, like that seems like a disproportionate amount of sympathy that you're giving to the lion.
well, I'm choosing to stay out of it, but I don't. I get what you mean. But I don't know how to view it any other way since I would not want to be killed. But I guess me not wanting to be killed doesn't matter in a sense. So it would really just come down to would we humans have the ability to know how we're affecting the ecosystem and take it one at a time? I believe there's possibly a future where that's the reasonable choice. I'm just not convinced of it yet. But that makes me want to ask you a question then. If all fish, which I'm not sure if they are, if all fish are carnivorous, well, before I ask about the fish, if you kill the lion to save the zebra, would you consider it not vegan or not moral to eat the lion?
I'd say it's morally neutral for the most part. Like I'd say I'd recommend against it just because of zoonotic disease transmission.
Okay,
But
just on a
assuming
moral
that's not an
stance.
issue in a vacuum, yeah, it would be morally neutral. It'd be up to you.
Okay, so with fishing, aside from the issues that we have going on today, if all fish were carnivorous, would that mean that it's morally acceptable to go fishing, kill and eat the fish, because the more you fish and kill, the less suffering is going to happen in the ocean?
Well, not necessarily. So you have very large fish that kill smaller fish that kill smaller fish. So if there's this big fish eats the smaller fish eats the smaller fish situation going on, the big fish killing eating the smaller fish would prevent a greater degree of rights violations.
The big fish eating the small
So
fish.
it depends.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm not
Interesting.
sure. I'm agnostic, but let me ask you this: like, do you believe in the idea of animal rights? Like, should they be added to our legal system and protected against murder?
So as far as the legal system goes, I don't know what amount of studies I think need to be done before it goes into law. But if we were, if
Well,
we
no.
need,
If we were to sign a bill into law, you cannot murder animals.
yeah,
And like the circumstances in which you can murder an animal would be same circumstances that would like apply to a human. So if a dog
Yeah.
was gonna like rip you to shreds, you can shoot and kill the dog, but otherwise you can't like kill a cow because you want to eat it.
yeah.
Would you
So
not be in favor of that?
I would be in favor of it only with the knowledge that no human would need an animal product to be at optimal health, which I don't think we do. So we're probably good to go. But I don't. I wouldn't personally put it into law right now because I would want there to be more studies. But in general, I think I am.
So you'd be okay with humans killing and eating animals if supposedly somebody would need it to be in absolute optimal ideal health?
Yeah, so if humans eating what humans are designed to eat, whatever, if there was 100% health, and let's say veganism at its best put us to 80%, which I don't think is the case. If it did, I would say that I find it acceptable, even if morally wrong, to eat enough animals to get to 100% health. But I don't think
Okay,
we need
so
to. So
what if somebody needed animal products to be at 100% health, but they weren't doing other things to get to 100% health, so they weren't exercising enough, or maybe they drank occasionally?
it would be
Do you
hard to
think it's
put.
okay for them to kill and eat animals?
It'd be hard to put that into law, but I would. If the animal part they were eating was healthy, but they were also doing something unhealthy like smoking, I don't think I'd have any thoughts on that other than they're stupid.
But you'd permit them to eat animals.
If the eating animals improve their health, I would not want it illegal.
I don't know why the hell you'd care. And by the way, how the hell could
I
you
wouldn't
justify
care-
your own existence?
I wouldn't care
Somebody
about
could kill and eat
that
you.
individual. Yeah, which is why I think we need a society that defends humans at all costs. Like humans need
Okay,
protection.
so you're speciesist. So you think,
Definitely.
Okay, so you like what? Name the trait for me. Like the trait between humans and animals, where
There's no
you'd
trait.
be okay with killing and eating killing and eating animals if somebody needed it for ideal health, but you wouldn't be okay with somebody killing and eating a human for ideal health.
Yeah, only because we would want to feel safe. We'd want to feel that we are in a society that protects us. Correct. Yeah.
So there is no trait.
The trait that would make me prefer people even outside of a society to not kill humans if they needed flesh to survive, and human flesh was equal with cow or whatever flesh. The only trait that I could mention would be the knowledge of existence and the want for a future. But
Okay, so you'd
or
be
a
okay with killing
kinship.
children.
Would I be okay with not in a society with laws?
Well, if the only trait you can mention is knowledge of existence and I don't know, this future concept,
Yeah.
then you'd be okay with killing children. Like you'd want that into law.
In a sense. So obviously I wouldn't want
So
I don't think
want
somebody
it signed into law that it's okay
Oh,
for
not-
parents to kill their own children if they
into
want to
law?
Yeah.
No. Well, so first of all,
Why
into,
wouldn't you want that into law if you think it's moral?
Well, it depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about in nature, it's different, and I sort of lean towards yes on that. But in a society, no, I think the society should defend humans at all costs because that's why we have a society. We can trust this government has this jail, and there's these laws, and if you kill somebody or steal from them or harm them, you go to jail, and we feel safe. I think that's the most important thing humans can do. Out in nature, I would personally think it's wrong to do. I would definitely think it's wrong to take somebody from like their family. But if there was just some random stray kid that was at an age where they could not think of existence or the future, I don't know. Hardly care.
So basically the idea is it would be morally wrong because you have an interest in progressing the human race in some way, like maximizing the amount of human beings.
Only about no. Only caring about myself and my loved ones. I would want to be part of a society that protects me and my loved ones.
Well, you wouldn't be in danger if people were killing and eating children. So like
Correct.
a 1-year-old. So then what's the argument against eating a 1-year-old child?
The argument. Oh, well, I think it would be very important in the society to know that it'd kind of be a slippery slope argument. I wouldn't want to let things slide, which is why I'm pretty hardcore on abortion as well. But I wouldn't want to let things slide where we deviate from not harming humans. If you are a human and you are alive, you don't get harmed in our society.
Let's just assume that wouldn't be. You'd be fine with people killing and eating like 1-year-old children if they needed to eat meat for optimal health.
If they needed to eat meat for optimal health and it was a 1-year-old child that had no family?
Well, doesn't like it's the family killing him.
Oh, it's a family killing them.
So it's the mother killing her
sure.
own child and eating it.
Assuming there's no dad, I might think that within the society.
Well, say the mom and dad wanted to kill the child and they both were going to eat it.
Mom and dad were going to kill the child, and we knew it was at a level of not understanding existence or future. Sure.
Okay, so you'd be okay with people killing 1-year-old children if they needed meat for optimal health if they kill and eat their own children.
I'm not okay with it. I'd prefer it not to happen.
But you're saying, like, you personally wouldn't be okay with it, but you'd find it morally acceptable enough for other people to do.
Morally acceptable. If they needed it to eat.
Well, I mean,
but
not
they
to
also
survive, but
had
for optimal health.
Yeah, for optimal health, and they also had animals, and they could do either one. Yeah,
Like,
yeah. If I knew there was no room for slippery slope, I think so. I don't know. It's complicated. Yeah. What do you think?
I think that's insane.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a threshold deontologist. I believe in personal rights. So I don't know how
Same.
you could justify violating the rights of somebody on the basis of, well, it's a little bit better for my health if I kill you.
Well, what would be your criteria? So I guess you're saying threshold. So there is a threshold, but like if you, so you're saying 80% health versus 100 isn't enough to kill an animal, but I think earlier you said, oh, maybe you said if we were
20%. I don't know how you could justify killing a conscious creature just because you personally benefit from it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I not that numbers matter, but I'm guessing your average vegan, from anybody I've talked to, if they were on an island and had to kill a chicken to survive, they would do it. I don't think that it's cool that you're noble enough to end your life to save animals, but I don't think most people would let themselves shrink 3 feet or lose 50% health or anything like that. If you're a natural carnivore, you do what you do to survive.
All right, well, I think we're going to have to agree to disagree here. But thanks for coming on.
Yeah, for sure.
Debate was interesting for sure.
All right. Take care, man.
All right, take care.